Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Labor Day. It is September 2nd, 2024. So, yeah, if you're watching this in 2048 or something like that, yes, it was live when we did it, but now it is recorded for you. It is Labor Day 2024, and we are well over two-thirds into this 100-day challenge. I'm so excited. We're literally a month and a day away from the Now Honors and the Power of Pink. If you don't have your tickets, I'm going to say it, go to nowhonors.com and get your tickets. We are so excited to be at the Palms Hotel and Casino live in Las Vegas, inside the Brendan Theater. Isn't that beautiful? That screen is 43 feet wide. Oh, yeah, bigger than life. It's going to be so much fun. And today, like I said, this whole event, this whole 100-day challenge is to just kind of shine the spotlight on honorees, on speakers that have been on the Power Pink stage, on sponsors, and on supporters. And today, this young man is one of our supporters. He is definitely in our corner. I met him a couple of months ago in Scottsdale at Eric Swanson's amazing Speaker Hearts event, and he closed the event with a bang. Hey, William Blake, what's happening?
Here you go. Oh, I'm so excited. Happy Independence Day for everyone, and thank you for letting me be with you guys today.
Oh, thank you for coming. I want to thank you so much for just being a supporter and saying, yep, I'm coming, I'll be there, because you're a cool dude. I met you for the first time in Scottsdale, and I'm like, who's that guy? And you got thrown in the deep end to run the sound, and I'm like, do you need my help? Are you okay? Is everything all right? And
Oh
you
my,
said, no, I
yes.
got it.
Oh
But you
yeah, I
did
got
an
it.
amazing job. Yeah, you did an amazing job. And then you closed the show. So before we even get started, you're a speaker. Apparently you closed the show. What was it like? Was that the first time you've closed out an event?
That was the first time I closed out an event. I've spoken several times, but that was the first time I closed an event, and what an opportunity to do so, because there were so many great speakers. I know you spoke, and everyone there was amazing. So to be able to close was a great honor and a tribute to everyone who was there.
I think the hardest part about speaking at a multi-speaker event is either being the opening act, quote unquote, the opening speaker, or being the anchor to wrap it all up in a nice little bow and say, okay, now get out. You heard it. We've had a great time. Bye. And you did an amazing job at closing it
Thank you.
out. But then on top of that, a lot of people know I'm dyslexic. I don't hide it. I didn't even know I was dyslexic until I was in my mid 20s. And when I met you and I found out that is your specialty, that's what you do. Can you explain exactly what you do as a dyslexic achievement coach? What does that mean?
I'd love to. As a dyslexic achievement coach, I help people to discover their dyslexic superpower. So, specifically with my coaching, I focus on adults who are trying to work on their self confidence and self belief. But as a general thing for everyone out there, I love dyslexia. And it wasn't like that in the first place. Absolutely not. But as over the last couple decades that I have been with dyslexia, I've attributed it from a challenge into a
Mm-hmm.
superpower. And so being able to
Mm-hmm.
do that, I've been able to make that flip for myself. And then I try to find the commonalities, find what works for me, and try to share it with as many dyslexics. There we go. There's
Say that three
dyslexia
times
right there.
five.
Right? Whoever made the word dyslexia for dyslexics, meanest thing in the world. We need like an acronym or something that just helps us out to be able to say it more. But
Let's
I
just
want to
call it the
just
D power. From now on, it's the D power, and we're done. The
there you go,
power of
the
the
D
D.
power.
There you go. The
And
power
it's
of the
I
D.
power of the D. I love it. I just want to share, I just want to share it with what has worked for me, because I've done a lot of different stuff, and I want others to do the exact same thing.
So you say you've done a lot of different stuff. And as a dyslexic person myself, and mine is a little bit different, I don't see things backwards. When I get tired, I don't see spaces. So that's why computers are so great for me, because I can turn the light up behind it and force the light through the spaces. So reading online and all of that is awesome. But before computers, because I'm going to be 61 soon. So before computers,
No, no
that,
way.
yeah,
You look great.
November. Thank you so much. But back those days, we didn't have computers back then when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s. We didn't use computers the way we do now whatsoever. So reading a book or doing anything like that, I have to tell you, first time I read a book, it was Tina Turner, I, Tina. I don't know what made me decide I wanted to read that book from cover to cover. It took me almost 6 months to do it, just a few pages a day, almost 6 months to do it. And then we did a big party where everybody dressed up as a character from, from the book to
There you
celebrate
go.
that I read it. But
Yeah.
I to this day, I cannot pick up a novel. I get so jealous. I see people on a train or a plane, they pick up a novel and they're just like, and they get off the plane and they're done. And I'm like, how do you do that? Now audiobooks are my friend. I love audiobooks. I have hundreds of them. And reading online is fine for me. But I realized that over the years, especially when I was younger, I wasn't challenging myself. I used it as a deflective shield, and I went and
Mm.
mastered something else instead of figuring out how to deal with what I was dealing with. So do you like just say, okay, this is what I can't do and go over here? Or are you figuring out how to tackle it straight on and adjust it for yourself and others? How are you handling that?
I used to deflect it before I made this like my superpower. Because in elementary school, I was bullied. In middle school, I felt lonely. And in high school, I had friends, but they were in honors classes and I felt left behind. So I always felt I had to divert because I blamed everything on the dyslexia. But then I realized that it's not about the path that you take, it's about really the results that you get. And there's different ways you can take that, but specifically in this example, if you are at your house and you're trying to go to Walmart, most people will go from point A to point B in a straight line there. Us as dyslexics, ours is filled with construction. So we need to find a route C that we can take. And it might take us a little bit longer. We might be a little bit more scenic, but we eventually get to the result. So,
Mm-hmm.
like going there, that's how our mind works. Sometimes those paths that normal, I don't want to say normal, but other people can take are filled with traffic, filled with construction, something that just blocks us, that makes it almost impossible for us to go the normal way. So instead, what I've done is I've been able to adapt to figure out a different path to get to that destination. Because I still want the results. Like, I still want to be an author and a speaker and a teacher. I just have to find a different route to get there.
Yeah, and me too. And I am an author and a speaker and a teacher and an MC and all that good stuff, but I had to find a different route to get there. And sometimes when it's crowded, if I go to like a basketball game, I'm a huge Aces fan, right? So if I go to a basketball game or something, it's hard for me to stay on course. I have to like concentrate because if it looks cluttered or disordered or anything like that, my brain wants to go outside, come around the back, and come through the arena somehow to get there and avoid all these people. So I have to force myself to stay the course. Have you met other people that do the same thing?
Yeah, I've met several of my clients have done that, as well as I'm trying to think of an example for me. So I'm that same way, to where when there's just so much going on, it's difficult to perform. So
Mm-hmm.
something I also have attributed to dyslexia is, I don't want to butcher it, it's like auditory distortion disorder or something around there, to where it's difficult for multiple things of audio to be happening around me and for me to
Mm-hmm.
understand it. So if I'm at, actually, this happened a couple months ago. I took my kids to the aquarium, and my in-law, not my in-laws, my parents came with us,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my oldest on my shoulders. And as we're at that little stingray pool where you can pet the stingrays, I remember that all of a sudden there's a school of kids. They just ran around me. All I could think about was just like stay there until it's done. I literally was paralyzed holding my kid, staring straight out. And it was the hardest thing. And my mom knew exactly what was happening because it happened to me as a kid. So
Mm,
it's interesting because not only do people have dyslexia, but usually people with dyslexia or learning disabilities also have other things attributed to it as well. For me, it's
yeah.
audio. Some people have ADHD. Some people have autism added to it. So it's not just like one thing, but I totally understand where you're coming from.
One of the hardest journeys for me is when I'm being introduced on stage as the MC, or hey, Verge, as the MC, or just another one of the speakers in the lineup. If I'm coming from backstage, easy, because I'm standing on the side, straight shot, hit my mark, let's go. If I'm coming from the audience, they're cheering, they're having a blast, I'm loving it. But, I see somebody I know, and as Alan will say, and it's the reason why our television network is called Squirrel, is I'll start squirreling. If I see somebody I know, I'm supposed to be heading to the stage, and I'm going, oh, there's Mary, blah blah blah, and there's Bob, and hey, like, get
Yeah.
to the stage, get to the stage. I have the hardest time just going straight to the stage. You ever had that problem?
I Guilty. Yes, I have. It was at Speaker Hearts. I had that. So when I was closing, I went from the AV table and was walking up. And as I was walking up, John Kovac, who we know, he was emceeing. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I just wanted to say hi to him, wanted to give him a bro hug, be like, you're doing awesome. And then I look out in the audience and I see some of my other friends. And and then I had to come back to myself and say, all right, present here. We will say hi to them later. We'll put that in the file in our mind. We'll say hi to them later. Get to the center, take a deep breath, and then give the value. So, absolutely. I had that just a couple months ago.
That's so awesome. Now I'm sure there's somebody watching right now that maybe they want to be a speaker and they've held themselves back because, they're going, no, I'm dyslexic. I'm going to get up there and I'm going to freeze. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. As a coach, do you coach other speakers that are dyslexic?
Yeah, if that's what they're going for, absolutely. I help them do that. And I've had plenty of training and plenty of experience with speaking, as well
Hmm.
as things with writing. And I went from reading 1 to 12 to 40 to 50 to now 60 plus books every single year. So, like, I have these areas of as I've been really just trying to live life and take more experience on, I'm able to then attribute that into it. So when
Wow.
for someone who is dyslexic and looking to speak, personally the best thing to do is do the hard thing first, hit record on your phone and then just record yourself, because even though it'll be the most like the hardest thing that you could ever watch, because you might stumble over your words, you might not have a flow in your message, and you might not have it like die hard like your keynote speech. It's the small consistent things that help us get from where we are to where we want to be. And so if you're wanting
Mm.
to be a speaker, simply small consistent actions. Break it down so small that it's easy to do. Just hit record, record a minute of video, and then leave that. As long as you're doing better than you did yesterday, then that's enough.
That's pretty much how I started. And when I started my show, I've been producing shows for 20 years. But when I started my show, and then Amazon Prime wanted it, and I went during COVID, I'm like, but they're terrible. So the worst. My first two seasons were the worst because I was getting comfortable and learning my way. And those are the two seasons that were on Amazon Prime. I'm like, that's just wonderful. Thank you so much. But you talked about superpowers, finding your superpower. What if somebody has no idea what their superpower is and they've spent most of their lives, just kind of navigating through the minefield Nope, I don't do that. I don't understand this. I'm not going to read that over there. I'm not going to speak in public because I'm going to mess it up. How do they find what their superpower is?
The first step I always tell people when they're trying to find their superpower is it's usually something that has been a challenge for you. Because a lot of the times we think of challenge as hard, will face the rest of my life or for a long period of time, versus superpower, something I can make empowering to go and believe and inspire other people. When in reality, those two come together. It's simply where you're at in the journey of the process. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are living in it, sometimes you can't see it. And so, first off, you got to have sometimes third parties coming in, like us talking about it, or you read it somewhere, or you see a TikTok video somewhere of people breaking through that belief of this is what you thought before, this is what it can be. And so you start out with that belief, you start out with that mindset, and then you start evolving it from that challenge into that superpower. Now, for an example, if I can give one,
Absolutely.
is my wonderful wife. Absolutely love her. A couple years back, she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer.
Mm,
And that was one of many things that she's gone through. Like she's a
wow.
type 1 diabetic since she was 2.5 years old. She's had
Mm,
asthma. She's, goodness gracious, had ankle surgery when before we first got married. And it was absolutely amazing to see her through all of that, to hear about her having cancer. And then
mm,
after that period of time of just feeling the hardness of it, to then still be able to go into life and still be able to show up and to give to other people. And I think that what she's done is taken her cancer and then been able to use some attributes from it. One being
mm-hmm.
empathy. Like when you go through a challenge, like actually go through it, you go through the pain because it's through the pain that we progress. As you go through that pain and come out on the other side, you have more empathy and you're able to then, for those people who are going through it, then share it more with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So back to that question of, you know, how you find your superpower. Sometimes it's the challenge you're going through and you just need a mindset shift. And so think about what you're going through and think of, do I want to live with this the rest of my life, thinking of it as a burden or
Right.
something that I can help serve other people with?
I wanted to make my way through mine, not so much for me, but I met other people that were kind of going through the same thing. And I was holding myself back, but it seemed like they were really holding themselves back, and you can see the greatness within people. When you get in a room with someone, you can just feel it, especially rooms that you and I have been in. It's like you can feel the greatness in that room. And if they're really holding themselves back, they're functioning at 10%, 20% of their greatness. It's like, who do we talk to? How do we get you to take that, stop holding yourself back? It's not society or the world or the weather or anything else. It's literally you got up today and said, this is all I'm going to do today. I'm not going any further than this mark, And then I met you at Speaker Heart, and I had never met a coach or a professional that, other than doctors, of course, that, were helping people with dyslexia. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm like, where was he 40 years ago? And then I realized you're about, 30, 40 years, maybe 50 years younger than me. So you weren't even here. But I was like, where was he when I was going through all this? Have you met other people? Have there been panels of people that, are helping society with their dyslexia? Or are you kind of, navigating this path on your own?
There are obviously people out there doing similar things, but I don't think it's the way that I'm choosing to do it. Because I know that there's like the dyslexic advocacies of Utah, because that's where I live. So like they help with dyslexics. obviously doctors and individuals help diagnose people with dyslexia. And so like they are full of information and can absolutely give it.
Hmm.
But instead of the information side, that's great. But I want to focus more on what you want in your life. And so for people who have dyslexia, who have really been bogged down by society through elementary, into high school, into college, and into life, it's just this negative thing that's out there of this stereotype that dyslexia is going to harm you the rest of your life and you can't do anything. So I'm like, nah, brah, that's not how it works. Instead, it's a wonderful thing. I know that's the weirdest saying I've ever said, but it's a
I'm putting
wonderful
it on
thing
the
that you
t-shirt
can use.
tomorrow. I'm telling you right now.
Just like nice stick figure. Nah, brah, dyslexia
Yeah,
works.
dyslexia works. That is so
And
awesome. Well, have you ever thought about doing like a workshop or a virtual event and having, 4 or 5 or 7, whatever, people come in? Not all of them would have to be dyslexic, but they'd have to understand it and have worked through it to kind of just bring these minds together and spend a day virtually where people can ask questions, we can go deep. Have you ever thought about doing anything like that, or have you done it?
I have not done it. That is a fantastic idea that I'm going to start implementing. That
No,
sounds
no,
like
no.
a
Let's do
great
it.
thing.
We're doing
Yeah.
it together. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
You're on the panel. Okay.
Yep, let's go. Let's make it happen. I've got you and I will talk when we get done with the show. I've got a couple of people I know would be amazing to have them on, and just let's spend a day or two virtually and do a workshop where people can come in and dig in and find their superpower. That's what
Yes.
it's all about. So yeah, let's do it. I'm 1,000% in. Let's make that happen.
Let's do it.
We have the tech and all of that, and you have the knowledge, and I've been going through this dyslexic thing since I was born, and I'm, like I said, almost 61. So let's do it. Let's show the world, yeah, the D power, the power of the D. Let's rock. You in?
I love that. I'm in. Yeah,
Awesome,
absolutely.
awesome. So before I let you out of the hot seat, I got to ask, you have an ebook coming out in like a month or so. What's the book about?
The book is about going from where you are to where you're going. So it covers step by step the steps that you need to be able to achieve the goal that you want. Starts with belief and mindset, goes through the process, and ends with being consistent with small steps. So I have that ebook coming out. It's coming out in a month. For those who are wondering about it, you can find me at my website, williamblakelight.com, and I'll be able to have a link there for individuals to come and grab it.
Tell them one more time what your website is again.
It is williamblakelight.com.
I want to thank you for being a supporter and saying, yep, I'm in on the 100-day challenge, coming in and sharing on a subject that I can honestly say, we've done 700 episodes one way or another in the last 4 years. First time we've really talked about dyslexia in that 700 episodes. So I want to thank you for coming on and sharing the message. And yeah, man, let's start planning this workshop. I think it will be awesome.
Yeah, let's plan it. Can I give your audience a gift quick?
Absolutely. We love gifts.
Awesome. So for everyone who is watching, I would love to give you guys a free call to figure out your superpower. So again, you can go to my website and schedule a call with me there. Simply add the words TGO in the message, and I'll know that you're coming from here, and that'll be free for you guys and the audience that's listening to this.
Awesome. So we'll make sure that williamblakelight.com is in the comments below. That's once we stop recording. And then we'll push people and keyword Tigo, which is easy. Everybody knows me that's on, my show. Well, hopefully they know who I am. They're not going, hey, you.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they know who the heck I am. Who knows? But I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending a little time. Thank you for all that you do. And I can't wait to share another stage with you.
Oh, I'd love that. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you guys.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Come back anytime. All right, everybody. You know what to do. If you did not write it down, don't call me. Don't text me. Don't say, what did he say? Go to the website or look in the comments below. You'll see it, williamblakelight.com, or go to tigodirect.com, type in William Blake. Later on today, give the crew a chance, well, better yet, Alan, a chance to go out there and add him to tigodirect.com. Send him a private message and say, hey, we saw you on the 100-day challenge. I want to know more about your book or how to find my superpower. And he'll reach back to you. It costs you nothing. It costs him nothing. It's all about keeping the community connected. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. You know I want you to come back next time. And as always, I'm Tigo. I'll talk to you next time. Tigo's also the keyword, williamblakelight.com. Have a good day.